That's what we'll understand when we're all done. Since the web's inception, the primary metaphor that we've used to understand and describe the web is one of location. We talk about addresses, URLs, taking us to websites. We talk about going to websites. And that language is very pervasive. In fact, Microsoft's first, do you remember this? Where do you want to go today? This was Microsoft's first big ad campaign that they did for a general market. And that was what they picked. This was, of course, 1998. Going online and getting somewhere was what everybody cared about. But it actually works out that people don't really want to go anywhere when they use the internet. They want to do something. And that doing something is what we're all about. When we're building apps that use APIs, we're actually trying to help people accomplish some purpose. There's a little video from Subpar University. How do I make it click? There we go. Now, I don't know how to make it run, I guess. Did it just go by itself?
I find business opportunities everywhere, man. I'm constantly bombarded with ideas, like they're falling out of those holes in the ozone layer right into my brain. Just the other day, I realized that AAA membership that my step-grandmother's boyfriend keeps buying me for my birthday, it's got discounts in it all over the place. I can actually use them for all sorts of local businesses, and I actually went through and found each local business that offers discounts.
Sweet.
Check it.
I'm with you.
You know where I'm going with this.
Awesome website.
Discount spreadsheets.
Wait,
I'll
what?
email them to you monthly for $20.
Really?
You'd be stupid not to do it.
Wow.
Hey, look,
Yeah, I guess I'm stupid.
I got one right here. You can buy 3 tires for $120. 4 tires, it doesn't say.
Of course not.
Candelabras for $15.
Ooh, do they have cakes too?
Mani-pedis for under $20. You know how I like to take care of myself.
Yeah, you could use some hair removal.
Amazing. I mean, it took me a while to tab it up, but I could probably get my cousins to do that for me. And I did it while I was on the clock anyway, so no harm, no foul.
So Andy, the guy with the phone book, hit Simon. If you didn't notice, Simon's actually a dummy, and this is part of a longer series, The Mannequin. When he shows him this thing, he says, you know where I'm going with this? And he says, website, right? Kind of the standard answer. And then, of course, he says, now discount spreadsheets, which is meant to be funny, but it actually turns out that spreadsheets might be more useful than the website, because at least the data would be structured. Right? All of us could do something with it. We drag the data out of the CSV file and mark it up somewhere. The website somebody has to go to. Problem with focusing on location is that we have tended to then focus on servers. When we're focusing on servers, everything ends up in a silo. And this is, even with APIs, every API turns out to be a silo. Purpose requires that we worry about more than servers. I want to do a little demo for you. Let me pop out of this. And it's easier if I turn on mirroring so that I can actually see what's going on. This is Netflix. All of you are familiar with Netflix, I'm sure. When we go to Netflix and click on a movie, we see what the movie's all about. I happen to subscribe to a service called ClearPlay. Now, if you haven't heard of ClearPlay, what ClearPlay does is they provide a DVD player along with filters that create a way for the DVD player to skip parts of the movie. So if you want to watch a movie with your kids, for example, and you don't want to see certain scenes, ClearPlay will essentially edit the movie on the fly. Now, the problem with this is when I go to Netflix and look at a movie, I want to also understand whether ClearPlay has a filter that's associated with that movie. So right now, that requires that I go to Netflix and then I go over to ClearPlay and do a search over there, and there's this kind of 2-website dance that I have to go through. Let me show you a little application called ClearPlay, not surprisingly. And when I have the ClearPlay filter installed, notice below the fold there, what happens is Netflix has been augmented with data under the movie telling me that the filter's available, go to IMDb and see more about the movie, those kinds of things. So essentially, as a user, I want an integration between Netflix and ClearPlay. That's not likely going to happen. And if it is, I don't want to wait for it. I don't want to have to put it together. I mean, that's a multi-month legal contracts, at least hundreds of thousands of dollars changing hands, developers working to get something done. But as a user, what I want to do is integrate those two websites in my browser right now to give me the experience I want. That's an idea of going beyond silos to help users achieve a particular purpose. Back into it. Let's get past that. That was the demo I just did. In essence, doing what I just did requires knowing something in the client. It requires using a client, and the reason is because the client is the place where all of these silos get tied together. The client sees all of these different silos and can do something with it. What we want to do is build a framework that allows us to bridge these silos. And this gives us a different perspective, because now we can start to think of purpose not happening on a single website. We don't have to build orbits to collect all of this travel data. We can actually build an application that runs on the user side and brings all of this data together. Now here's a scenario. Suppose that I'm walking into Borders, and as I do, my mobile phone alerts me that the book that I added to my Amazon wish list this morning is available at that Borders. That's an example of a scenario that not only is about two different places, but it's also about different devices. It's not just about being online. It's about location, mobile, all of these kinds of things. And we've heard talks throughout the conference that have had these kind of scenarios in them. In a purpose-centric internet, developers are tasked with delivering an experience. Right? So what we're concentrating on here is the experience that the end user has in getting something done. Now it turns out that this is hard, and here's why. If you're the developer and you want to do this, you have to understand location, you have to understand authentication, you have to understand APIs, you have to understand optimization, you have to do authorizations, you have to worry about devices and events and data formats and who knows what else. Lots of different things. Now, every developer in the room knows that we have ways of managing all of this complexity. The first way that we manage all of this complexity is that we layer architecture on it. And so if you were to set out to build this app, you'd probably come up with some kind of architecture, and in that architecture, you'd build abstractions that would help you manage this. And that's one of the key ideas that we use to manage that kind of complexity. But it's not quite enough. The problem is APIs are making that problem even more difficult. Sam Ramji, in a talk that you've probably watched online or seen in person about Darwin's finches and the evolution of APIs, which is a wonderful talk, by the way, says that 80% of the traffic will be coming from beyond the browser. And what he means is not that it won't necessarily be somebody sitting in front of a computer, but that your traffic to your application will be coming indirectly. Scoble, said that in 1994 we wanted a domain and a web page, and in 2000 we wanted to make it interactive. And in 2010, what we want to do is get rid of all the web pages and just glue people together with APIs. I don't know if we're going quite that far as getting rid of all the web pages, but this obviously represents a trend and one of the reasons why we're all here in this conference. Dion Hitchcliffe, who spoke yesterday, uses a graphic similar to this. I adopted it from him. Right, that you have a web application and you have a website that essentially goes direct to some portion of your traffic. And then you have other things, the semantic web, SNS apps, widgets, third-party apps that are all talking to the API that your app exposes. And obviously one of the reasons why we do that is because that gives us greater reach. We get to talk to more